Hello, welcome back to the podcast. This is your host, Whitney, and 'tis the season for live events, right? We're in the spring, summertime. There's conferences happening, there's health fairs, there's farmers markets. The weather's a little bit warmer, so people are emerging and moving around and doing stuff. And so this is a great episode for you if you are considering going and doing some live events over the next couple months and making sure that you really are getting a good ROI, return on your investment, because there is nothing worse than putting a lot of time into a booth or a table or getting your butt to a networking event and then coming home and being like, did that really do anything? How do I measure if that did anything? Or just already knowing like, well, that didn't really do much for my business. So let's make sure that you don't fall into that category and that we give you some good tips today to get the most out of your live events, get more leads coming into your business, because that is what these events are about. Yes, they are about relationship building. It's great to be chatting with people, having people see your face, interacting with people. But as I will get into, if you only have 4 conversations with people, unfortunately, those are not numbers that are going to really move the needle on your business. So we need to be looking at how we can get as many numbers coming in to your booth, to your event, to your email list. That's going to be the thing that we're really driving towards, so that you can have those opportunities to convert some of those people into customers and get some income coming in from all of the time and energy and potentially money you invest in doing some kind of live event. So what do I mean by live events? Well, health fairs, conferences where you have a booth, farmers markets, all of those can be the types of events where you are potentially interacting with your target customers, your ideal customers, your audience is there, and you are looking to connect with them and have them hopefully become leads and get into your email list and all of that. Now, these events are also great for networking. So not only finding customers, but also referral sources or collaborators. Now, this might be at a conference, for example, or you're going to events where providers are. These really aren't leads, these people that you're meeting, but you may be making connections. They can be potential referral sources. I'm not going to focus on this avenue and strategy as much today, but I will show you at the end how the framework that I'm going to walk you through can work for this as well. So I'm going to get into the framework, but I'm going to just first put this caveat. I'm going to already assume that you have put together a booth that is going to have some interaction, something interesting, that you are attracting people to your booth, that people are coming to your booth, your event, wherever you are. So I'm not going to be talking about how to attract leads. I'm really talking about how to convert the people that are coming through your booth and coming by and seeing you and talking to you, how to get them into your funnel a little bit more and get them as leads. So I would recommend, though, your booth, make sure it's attractive, it's on brand, have some interaction there, have something engaging, be talking your booth up, depending on what kind of event it is. If there's social media, maybe you want to be tagging the event, seeing if they can be cross-posting anything, just trying to drive traffic to your booth as much as you can. So let's just assume that you've got a great booth. You have ways to send people to your booth. I mean, some places, like I did the member showcase at Fancy at the expo with the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics a couple years ago, and generally people are just coming to your booth. They're walking by. You can do some promotion on social media. Hey, people come to my booth, send out to your email list. But generally, if you're going to an event like that, people are just going to be coming by and you just want your booth to be looking good, and that the conference organizers will kind of take care of the rest. They're supposed to be getting people to your booth a little bit. So let's assume now we've got that taken care of. So once people are coming to your booth, how do we make sure that we are actually maximizing those people that are coming to you? So you want to be focusing on these 4 things. You need to offer something actionable, some actionable value that relates to your work. And I'm going to give you examples and talk through all of these in a minute. But you need to offer some actionable value that relates to your work, not just something that is about the event. So if you are giving away free samples of shampoo at a farmer's market, because that's just like a little tchotchke you could give to people, and maybe it's from one of the vendors, but you don't really do anything in that area, then that's really not going to get people thinking about your product and what you do. So you kind of have to make sure that it relates to your work in some way. After that, we want to focus on these 4 things. I'm going to explain them first, and then I'm going to take you through an example. So the first thing, you need to offer some actionable value that relates to your work. Then you need to get people's emails. This is a critical thing. You need to be building your email list. That is going to be the way to be actually turning these visitors to your booth into leads and then potential clients and customers. Then you need to be able to do this quickly. So if you have a process that is really labor intensive to try and get people's emails, that's not good. We need to be able to move quickly and do this quickly at the booth. And then finally, you need to follow up on these people. After the event is over, you need to, in my opinion, do it within a week and follow up with people. And we'll talk through that a little bit as well. I'm going to walk you through an example now in a farmer's market setting. Now, this can equate to all sorts of different things, a health fair, some kind of talk you're giving where there's a large audience then cycling through, whatever the case may be. So let's talk through these 4 steps of this framework. First, you need to give some actionable value. So this could be recipes that you're giving to people, some other little lead magnet like a 1-pager. In my mind, it should be a teaser to get your full thing, because we want people to want to get on your email list. But by them looking at your recipe card, they're not getting on your email list. Now, I would include a QR code on these handouts because, and you can do these now for free in Canva. So that's great, because we do want to give people some way to easily get to your website, get more stuff from that handout. But we can't assume that just by having that recipe card on your table and having people take it, that they're then going to later get on your email list. That's kind of a lost opportunity. I'm sure all of you have gone to a conference one time or another, gone into the expo hall, picked up all the handouts from the tables, put them in your bag, then put them in your luggage, went home. You were exhausted and busy trying to catch up on life and work, and you never looked at that pile of papers again. Or you looked through it, but then you forgot what some of them were. It's a thing. So we don't want that to happen to you. So that's step 1. We want some kind of little valuable, actionable thing. And then we want to do the email capture. So what I would recommend is have people scan a code to get to an opt-in page to get on your email list for that bigger value thing. So for example, if we went down the recipe route, maybe you have one recipe on your table that is for something, maybe you even then have that food on your table, depending on how big the event is and how you're positioning everything, but you've got that there. And then if people want to get the full recipe book that has 10 recipes plus a shopping list and maybe other tips from you, whatever the case may be, they can scan and get that book right now. And so you want to get them to do that. Or maybe you want to, maybe it's not recipes, maybe it's more about managing your new diabetes diagnosis, and there is some other kind of workbook or planner or something that's going to be helpful, and you want to give that to people so that they can get on your email list. So that is one way you can be collecting email lists, is basically we want to incentivize people to take that action right at your booth. Or you could have people entering into a raffle by giving their email address. And now we want to do it fast. So how do we get people to opt into some of these things, whatever the case may be, however we want to get them onto our email list and kind of incentivize them a little bit to give us their email? How do we do that quickly? So a few different ways. And first I'll say, it's great to chat and build relationships, and we don't want to completely eliminate that from the process, but honestly, you really need to capture the most people so you can nurture them in the future. Because when you get home, are you going to be happier that you got emails of 4 people or 40, right? Like even those 4 people that you met with, if they walked away not getting on your email list, that's going to be kind of like a done a done thing, if you didn't even get those emails. But even if you got those 4 people, the chances of all 4 of those people being really great fit customers and all of them converting, that's pretty rare that you would have 100% conversion. Whereas if you had 40 people, you could definitely get 4 of those people to become customers, hopefully even more. So we want to a lot of times it's a numbers game. We want to have the biggest pool possible. Now, if it's a larger conference, I would recommend paying for the lead capture. So for any of you who have been to large conferences and gone to an expo hall and they have a little scanner to scan people's badges, I would recommend doing that. When I did the member showcase at Fancy a couple years ago, I paid for the lead capture and it was totally worth it. Just so much easier to just scan people's badges. And then you can totally tell people if you want to incentivize them a little bit, hey, can I scan your badge? We're doing a raffle. At the end, you'll be entered to win. Or just, can I scan your badge so we can stay in touch? All of those things are fine. Now, if it's a smaller conference and there's no scanner, that's totally fine. I would have people scan a QR code potentially to opt in. That does mean, though, that they have to be on their phone and scan that code and then type their email in quickly. So that may not work depending on how fast people are moving through this event. But if you only have a few people coming to your table every few minutes, you might have enough time to walk them through that process and go through that technology. Or you could have them drop a business card if they have that, or they could write their name and email on a paper to get into the raffle as well. You could go completely old school. Sometimes that is just the best avenue, and that way they're just putting their name down on a piece of paper, and you can then manually enter those emails into your system, your email system later. And you could have at the top, this is just you're opting into our raffle and we'll send you marketing emails, that kind of thing. Because people are basically opting in, but just on a piece of paper. Now, you could also have something like an iPad that you can use to enter info. You could have people do that from the table instead of having to scan a code and use their own phone. They could just quickly enter their email into that iPad. Just make sure that you can refresh the page and have people opt in again with a new email. There are sometimes different platforms where once that form has been used once, it somehow kind of drops a cookie and it remembers that that's already been submitted. So you just want to make sure that you can do that. Just test it out at home before you go. But like I said, one thing I would not do is give people a handout and expect that they are going to opt in later. Give them that option. Don't not give them that option. Like, give them the ability to type in a URL so that they can get the full thing from you, or go to your website, or scan a code from their phone to opt in and get more things. I think that's totally great and fine. Just don't count on that being your main list building activity from this event. You don't want that to be how you're banking all of your leads. So you should hope to walk away with leads in your pocket right away from that event. Because remember, we've talked about email marketing in many past episodes and the value of having an email list and how you can leverage your email list to nurture your customers, get to know them a little bit more. You share more information with them, let them know about what you offer, give them valuable information. So having an email list is just a really great thing for your business, and it's really great for your customers and your potential customers. And so this is just another way to be adding those people to your email list. You're just doing it in a live setting. And then the final thing that you should be doing is following up with people. And I know this can be tough, and I have been guilty of this myself in the past because I spend so much time preparing for the event. I then don't end up actually having a plan in place to follow up with people after the event, and I'm so exhausted that I end up not doing it. So don't be like me. Don't do that. So one thing to do is welcome people to your list. Now, you could have an automation that as people opt into your opt-in form at the event, they get an automated email with whatever it is that they had opted in for and saying, thank you so much. Great to connect with you at the event. And, you could be good there. But I would also recommend having some email scheduled to go out to the people that were new to your list. Now, the way you would do this is add those people to your email system, whether you're manually typing all of them in or they're coming through this form, and tag them that they came from that. And this is also going to allow you to track a little bit, like, well, how many leads did I get from this event? And then as time goes on, oh, how many of those people actually became customers? So you can see a little bit of the ROI on that. So you can have those people tagged, and then you can send an email just to those people saying, welcome to my email list, welcome to my community. Note that you met them at the event to give them a little bit of a reminder, because that's the other thing. People do get added to email lists, especially some of these events, where they sell our registration to other advertisers and sponsors. So there can be a bit of people just getting a lot of email around the event. And so it can be really helpful to remind people that, hey, they opted into this. You're a real person. You met them. You came to my booth where we talked about this. It doesn't have to be like that personal to the conversation you had, but just letting them know a little bit about that. You can also in that email share a link to maybe one of your most recent blog posts or maybe some other resource or lead magnet that you have. Just kind of giving a little bit more value, kind of making that first interaction with them really great. Let them know what you do, just a little bit about that. A link to your services page on your website. If you want, you could mention that you have a discovery call, or at least have that linked in one of your links in the footer of that email so that people can click it if they'd like. And then email once a week or so with your typical newsletter. Just keep in touch and nurture all those same things that we want to do with our email list in general, sharing more resources and blogs and tips and client stories, more information about your services. All of those things are great to be sending to these people that came in from the live event. And if you want to offer them a special deal or offer, you can do that too. And just depends on what your business model is and all of that. But even just sending them a nice email with an additional tip or resource is a great welcome to ensure that they stay on your email list and see value and want to hear from you, and you start developing that relationship with them. Now, for networking with referral partners, I would say that you can use that similar framework that I just walked through, these 4 steps, with just a few different modifications. So the first thing was about some actionable value that relates to your work. So when you're in these conversations with providers, maybe you're at a networking event, finding out a little bit more about what they do, talk about what you do and how you can help them, how you can support them and their business and their customers. If you have a half pager or a full page sheet of paper or anything that you can give to people about what you offer, anything of interest to a referral partner, I think that's great. It's always good to have those things in hand, because remember, this is more referral partners. It's going to be lower numbers. It's not all about getting on the email list at this point, but you still want to be kind of given a little bit of value, something that's kind of a quick win, so they can be like, oh, wow, sure, he has some interesting stuff going on, and I want to remember them. And you do need to get their email, though, still. We still want to get their email. It's great to get their business card, or you could have a separate form, even like a Google form, where they could quickly enter their info, or as you talk to them, you could type it in there. But don't just give them your card and expect them to follow up. I think that's another thing, that a mistake that we can sometimes make, again, is putting the ball in their court, when really you are doing them a bit of a disservice if you are saying, hey, in order for you to get the value of working with me and getting my support, you now need to go home and put an action item on your to-do list to follow up with me. Take the pressure off of them and get their email so you can follow up with them. And you can even offer to send them something they'll value in exchange for that email. And depending on if you've had a conversation, you're like, oh, this article, you could say that you can send them that article or whatever. I have some handouts that your patients might find really interesting. I can send those to you if you give me your email and all of that. And we want to be able to do all of this quickly. Remember, we want to act quickly. People are busy, so go in there just kind of knowing, okay, what's my 1 to 2 sentence overview of what I do and what I offer? What is my intention in this event? What am I hoping to get out of this? I think that can be a really helpful thing to just set your mind of, okay, what am I doing at this event? What am I hoping to achieve? Who are the kinds of people that I want to talk to? What are some of the goals that I have internally for myself? and just be able to move through the room and chat with people and get that information. Or if you're going and doing conversations, just one-on-one visits to doctors' offices, the same thing. People are busy. So you want to give a little value, find a way to follow up and do all of this quickly. And then you do need to follow up. So I would say, don't let more than a week go by, just like with any other event. I would send them a quick note. They don't need to go into your main email marketing software like you would for your customers or clients. This is really just more for nurturing your relationship with them. And depending on what it is, you could give them a little reminder or refresher about what you talked about. Give them a little value in that email. If you have an ask, I would really love it if you could refer me to customers. Do you have any customers in mind right now that might be a good fit for what I offer? Don't be afraid to ask for those referrals right up front and see what else you can do to support them so that you can mutually support each other. And I would just say, do keep these people on a list somewhere so that you can reach out periodically to stay front of mind. I know we have a lot of things going on in our businesses, so sometimes certain things can fall to the wayside, but just see if you can, over time, do this kind of organization where you just have this list of folks that you can be reaching out to remind them that, hey, I'm here, I have some services to offer. Here's some new things that are going on with me. Are there any new things going on with you in your business that I can support? That kind of thing. All right. So to sum it up, no matter what kind of event we're doing, we want to be getting emails if we are wanting this event to be helping us grow our leads, grow our network in some way. And then we want to be using our email list when it comes to these events with potential customers. We want to be then using our email list to share our website, share our services, to be nurturing these people that we met at these events and having them become future customers. So using our email list to send emails to people. So all of this is focused on getting people on your email list and then sharing pieces of information from your website to nurture folks. So it all comes back to sending them to your website and all the great stuff that you've put on there and maximizing this work and time that you spend going to these live events to actually get these new people, this new audience that you're being exposed to, onto your email list so that you can be sharing your services with them and growing the relationship that way. Because there's just not enough time at these events to really build a deep relationship, right? People aren't going to just buy and hire you right away at these events. So they are a little bit, again, about relationship building, but really they should be about attraction and audience building as well. And remember, lead magnets, email marketing, and creating your website and blogging and all of that good stuff, these are all things that we cover in my website program, the Wellness Pro website system, and we will be opening up enrollment again in September. So if this is something that you would like support around, maybe you've been doing some events lately and feeling a little frustrated by the strategy you have, and it would really be helpful to have some of these things in place to support you, make sure you get your name on the wait list for the program, because that way you will be the first to know when we will be opening doors again and get access to bonuses and goodies and all that good stuff. So you can go to wellnessprowebsite.com to learn more about our program, my website program, and to also get your name on the wait list. So I hope that you enjoyed today's podcast and you took away some good little tips and nuggets that you can apply to your next live event. And I will talk with you soon. Thanks.